Can you all sitting over here do me a favor? Can you all pinch yourself for a second? I'm really sorry to do that. But can you feel that sting as soon as you pinched, right? So there's something incredible happening in your body right now. Millions of nerve cells firing, the blood rushing to heal, and your body repairing by itself. We are talking about a technology which prints 3D models layer by layer. I'm talking about a company which builds 3D printers and which works in the area of tissue engineering and regeneration medicine. Well, for you, it might heal in a second, but think about a burn victim. For him or her, it might take a few months, few years, or in some cases, a permanent scar, right? Waiting for donor skin, waiting for the grafts to get hold, waiting for the pain to go. Now, what if I tell you that we can print this particular skin? Yes, you heard it right. Cell by cell, layer by layer, living, breathing human tissues, printed layer by layer. Today, I'm going to tell you a story which is not about technology. I'm going to tell you about something, what happens when what you have built for years crumbles down and you actually discover what you are really meant to do. Let me take you back to where it all started. I'm an electronics engineer, and for 5 years, I poured everything to build something called as 3D printers. It was a very early age of 3D printing in the industry, and that's why it was a bit tough, very nascent. I started talking and pitching to automobile companies, to aerospace companies, to a multiple people in the MSME world. And you know what was the response? Well, they told me this is too risky, it's too expensive. Come back when you're proven. Door after door, rejections after rejection, going behind investors, going behind customers, and it was just chaotic. But something kept me going. We kept building, kept selling. I took a sabbatical in between. That didn't work out. That's when I got back to my actual startup. Things were going fine, and then March 2020 happened. The world stopped. We all know what we all went through. And for the first time in all those years, I was sitting in silence and I was asking myself difficult questions like, what am I doing? Does it really matter? Is it actually benefiting someone? And that's when I saw my machines sitting idle on the side, catching dust, doing nothing. But this time, I had option either to get back and find a job or restart again. And yes, I did start again. It was not tough. This time, with more clarity, with a new co-founder, with a new team, with better people management skills. And then we started building for life. When we started building for life, things were not the same. It was much better. And this time, of course, we had some funding. Instead of talking to engineers, aerospace companies, this time I was working with hospitals, working with research labs, talking to doctors. And a lot of doctors told me, yes, what you're building can actually save lives. And that's when everything changed. Let me tell you exactly, what we are trying to do and give some statistics to it. Did you know that 11 million people annually face burn injuries? That is, 11 million people waiting for skin grafts to happen, which may or may not happen. There's no guarantee, right? And at this point of time, let me explain you the different degrees of burns. The layers in the skin, it's segregated into three layers, three major layers. The first degree of burn usually attacks the superficial layer of the epidermis, which is the top layer of the skin, right? So in this case, usually you do not require a graft. It heals by itself, and it doesn't take much time. In the second degree of burn, the superficial layer of the dermis gets affected. That's the second layer of the skin we are talking about, right? And in this case, mostly skin graft is required to heal it better or to heal it soon or to have better cosmetic outcomes, which also matters considering people are into different diverse domains. Then we have third degree of burn, which actually affects the epidermis as well as the dermis, and sometimes even the underlying tissue get damaged. Well, in the second and the third degree burn, you'll have to either harvest the skin from the patient itself or wait for a donor skin. And in this whole process, in harvesting the skin, there is a problem. You'll have to go through infection, wounds, pain, etc. And there is no straightforward solution over here. Now let me talk about the solution that we are trying to do. I'm talking about a skin, your own skin, printed in a 3D printer. So what happens? I take your biopsy, I get your cells, I get your tissues. I basically expand it, make multiples of cells, put it into a 3D printer, and then layer by layer, a tissue is created. Now, what's the benefit of this? Well, here, first of all, it has a better regenerational capability. That's why, imagine even from the third layer of the skin to recover to the top layer, it doesn't take much time. It just heals. It has better regenerational capabilities. And this is custom made for you. Basically, using image processing and different newer technologies in imaging, we basically take the scan, and using that scan, the skin is created, a magic happens inside the printer, and then the implant gets in. Well, this is proven to be an efficient way to treat burn injuries, right? Now, just imagine, people tell me that, just imagine somewhere around the world, a child survives a house fire, but the skin is completely gone. Imagine you going and telling to his or her parents that we can actually rebuild this. We can actually give back the life. And that's what this particular technology can do. It's not only about skin. It's also about improving the way medicines or drugs are tested in today's date. I'm just showing you a statistic that says 90% of the drug fails in the clinical trials. And this has been going on for years and years. 9 out of 10 proven medication do not reach patients. And in this whole process, millions of animals are also sacrificed in the lab, because that's the traditional way of how drugs are tested. Over 1.3 million people suffer through medication errors, which could have been prevented if we had better testing methods. Now, why do we really need animals, right? What if we could print that particular tissue with human cells and test drugs on top of it? Now, this is something that's happening right now. Now, imagine, I'm printing a liver 3D model and testing a drug on it just to see if it actually causes any damage to your liver. We are printing tumor models to test cancer treatment even before it touches the patient, right? And here, the breakthrough is unimaginary. Doing this, we could be saving around $26 to $30 billion annually. It's not really about money, but this money can be used to find more cures than just fixing the failures. Let me ask you something. When you fall sick, you go to a doctor. Your doctor prescribes a medicine, a pill, a dosage, a treatment plan, right? That's a standard process. And it is the same for everyone else at this point of time. What I'm trying to say is, if the diseases are different, if our bodies are different, my immune system and all of yours immune system are totally different. The way a particular drug reacts to our body is totally different. Then why do we need a standard pill? What if I tell you that we could 3D print custom drug based on your body requirement, tailor-made for you? We are not talking about you consuming a 650 mg or a 500 mg. I'm talking about 497 milligrams. You know why? Because that's exactly what your body needs, right? Research has proven that personalized medication can give 30% of better therapeutic response, which means it can heal faster, fewer side effects, and this could be a cutting-edge technology when we talk about personalized medicine. Now, in this whole journey of mine, I faced a few questions, which was very generic, but it made me think twice. It made me realize, what am I really doing? So to start with, people keep asking me, what do you do? And I used to say, I build 3D printers now for medical industry. An advisor told me, no, you're not just building 3D printers, you are actually connecting people to possibilities they didn't know existed. Oh, that's huge. I'm like, okay. I was sitting with a doctor told me, do you realize at this point of time, somewhere in the part of the world, a child with a burn injury is waiting for a skin graft or a donor skin to happen to him so that he can heal quicker. But he or she doesn't know that that may or may not happen. And he also told me, every day that you're working on the technology, every day that this technology delays to come to the patient, that's another wait for that particular burn victim. I'm like, okay. One of my friends asked me, what you're doing, how do you feel about it? Aren't you scared? I really thought about it. It's actually very terrifying. It looks sci-fi, it looks amazing to hear. But trust me, as I'm speaking, there are thousands of barriers that I'm going through. I have to think about how much time will it take for us to reach from here, from my lab to you guys. And I don't know about it. When will the regulatory agencies give me the go-ahead that you can actually, work on this? This could actually happen. But at the same time, I'm also grateful. I'm grateful because I'm working on something that actually matters. That gives me a great belief that this is possible. At the end of the day, it is not about the technology. It's not just about the technology. It's about the lives it touches, the hope it creates. We are not just printing human tissues. We are printing second chances. We are not just building businesses. We are building bonds between humanity, between science, between what is and what could be. And that's worth building for. Don't you think so? Thank you.